Yeah, the question to gamblers out there is, are you ready, willing, and able to jump back on the Dallas Cowboy bandwagon? And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, especially since Jason Garrett's come in here. We joked about Wade Phillips and stuff, but Garrett has definitely brought a new approach. He has certainly cleared out the locker room. They certainly seem to be playing with a lot more enthusiasm, a lot more fire, especially offensively. Defensively, they still suck. They're just as bad as they were early in the season. I mean, we're not hiding anything here.
No.
There's a reason that this team has gone over in 10 straight games, guys. The last 5 during Jason Garrett's tenure, the first 5 of them during Wade Phillips. They can't stop my mother and 10 other guys on the field. So I don't think the over is the play here, because I don't think the Redskins, even though Ryan Terrain came back, had a monster game last week against a Tampa Bay team that also can't stop the run. I don't think the over is the play, but I do think Dallas minus the points is an excellent one to certainly consider. Another team, we talked about potential teaser teams earlier today. This is another potential teaser team. I do not envision Dallas playing at home in revenge, losing this game, 6 down to almost pick 'em. I think it's another possibility to put in a teaser.
Yeah, it's strong. I agree with that.
Okay, another game that is on today's card, which no one has really brought up, which is kind of surprising. We happened to bring it up briefly. It was the Denver-Oakland contest. The Raiders really showed me something with the way they jumped on a red-hot Jacksonville team early on the road last week. Came back, tied the game late, and, of course, Jacksonville, miracle of all covers, miracle of all wins, gets the long kickoff return and a minute and a half to go, and then they go down, and Maurice Jones-Drew goes in and scores the game-winning touchdown and cover for them in a game in which they blew a late double-digit lead. But the Raiders are for real. Darren McFadden has rushed for like 990-some yards this year. Jason Campbell's your quarterback. Hey, you can't have everything in life.
Right.
And
we've seen this movie already. I mean, what they score, 150 points in 3 quarters the last time they played?
Yeah, well, they had 100 of them in the first half. I mean, Denver showed you no heart. What I was really surprised when I was reading some of the stories about the Denver-Arizona game, and I do different TV and radio appearances last week, and I had 5 free picks that I gave out in the NFL. The only game I lost happened to be the Denver Broncos game. Big deal. And I hit both of my best bets, Sunday with the Cowboys over, Monday night with the Giants. After the fact, you read some stories that the offensive players seemingly didn't know the plays, didn't know what they were running. And I'm going, that doesn't really bode well for the interim head coach who used to be your running backs coach. Josh McDaniel may not have been a good coach, but he was prepared, maybe over-prepared. I think they made a mistake in firing him because really it's the team. Of course, he constructed this team.
I think they were looking to pick up on that whole fire the coach momentum that seemed to be a trend in
It didn't work.
No, I didn't think it was going to work.
And look at this. I mean, you talk about role reversal. Tom Cable, they wanted to run him out of Oakland each of the past 2 years, but they hung tough with him, probably because Al Davis was too cheap and they didn't want to pay another former fired coach. And he's turned this team around, and they're they play with discipline. They have a strong ground game, good offensive line. The defense is coming on. I think you have to go ahead and lay the 6.5 points. I don't think we're going to see another blowout. I don't know about
No, but I think
over.
you have to ask yourself, what's changed since the last blowout? Anything? If anything, Denver's gotten worse.
No, and Kyle Orton's played 2 horrendous games. He had a big game against Oakland the first time because when you're down 35-0 in the second quarter, he was throwing the ball nonstop. His last 2 games he's had his 2 worst outings of the entire season. So I think that's a real problem spot. And a final game we didn't...
Giants-Philly.
Yeah, Giants-Philly. I mean,
that's a big marquee game. I mean, tough to read that game. Giants are 3-point favorites at home. But one of the things that people don't realize with the Giants is they're really banged up, especially in the wide receiver core. They lost the wideouts Barden, Cruz, and Hickson going in, and now Smith and Manahan both got injured last week. They're going to be coming up a little lame. I think that opens just a crack for Philly to come in here and give the Giants a run for their money. I don't know if they win this game, but I would buy the 3 up to 3.5. And take Philly.
Well, listen, first place in the NFC East is at stake here, and it's a must-win game for the Giants since they lost at Philadelphia earlier. Let's not forget the Eagles have some injury problems of their own. Stuart Bradley, their middle linebacker, who was coming back from a torn ACL and struggled early in the season when they couldn't stop the run, had rounded into shape, and suddenly the Eagles had become a good, not a great, but a good run-stopping defense. Dislocated elbow last week in the game at Dallas. They also lost their number 1 draft pick, a starting defensive end, Graham, who had seen a lot more action. He's gone with a torn ACL. So they're a little short along the defensive end. They're probably going to start a rookie today, 7th-round draft pick, a rookie at middle linebacker. Their other choice is Omar Gaither, who has played a lot at middle linebacker. He's undersized the past couple of years.
Right.
He's not a great tackler. The Giants have reemphasized the run. So there's the flip side in the equation. Giants with Brandon Jacobs starting and Amon Bradshaw coming back. They've got that 1-2 punch that made them so successful a couple years ago. Ran for, I think, 203 yards last week, 190-some yards total the week before. 3 straight games, 3 straight wins for the Giants because of the ground game. But if the Eagles can't stop that ground game, despite having an incredibly potent offense, I think since Michael Vick has taken over the starting reign, after a loss to Tennessee, they came out of bye. Vic took over. I believe they've averaged about 33 points a game. Explosive. But boy, Vic has really been beaten up here lately.
He has.
And what do you always say about the Giants? They're quarterback killers.
Right, but I don't think they can get to Vic that way. They did their best just to contain him, but I think that was a problem in the last game they played, was that they spent so much time focusing on containing Vic that they blew the game. And I think that had a lot to do with it. What impresses me about the Eagles since Vic took over is the way they become the comeback kids. It takes a certain type of level of, on a team to be able to consistently come back from fourth quarter deficits. You have to really be confident. You have to really have trust in your guys. And this, I think, is the big difference for Philly, considering McNabb to Vic and what they've gained from it. I see this team as a stronger comeback team, and that's very important.
One more game we didn't touch here in the closing minutes. Cleveland-Cincinnati. We've got about 10 seconds to talk about that game. Who do you like? Because I could care less about it, but I will say this. If Cleveland can't beat Buffalo on the road, maybe this is the week Cincinnati ends the 10-game losing streak, because how do you not beat the Bills?
Well, Ocho Cinco and Tio were on their radio show this week, earlier in the week, blaming the coach, blaming the owner, blaming everybody but themselves.
Oh, you like those dysfunctional teams.
So I think that we're probably not going to see the Cincinnati coach back next year.
No.
I think that the advantage to Cleveland, if there is any, is in the coaching department. So I'm going to go with Cleveland here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you wouldn't find, if you gave me money, I wouldn't bet on this game. Again, guys, we join you every single Sunday here with the Pick Nation Report, breaking down all your games from a point spread perspective. And again, remember, picknation.com, you get a one-day free all-access pass. Steve's #1 football cruise here, Red Hot Roll, going for their 7th straight winning NFL Sunday. You can get my plays, plus the plays of all 13 handicappers. We're talking a $500, maybe a $600 value today for free, no strings attached, just by using the all-access pass.
Yeah, more important than all that, Rex Ryan, get a burger. Tony Romo, sit your butt down.
Because as we know, they watch us every week, like Steve says, because, they've got nothing better to do Sunday mornings right before their games kick off.
Oh, they want to know who's going to win.
There you go. Hey, I am Al DeMarco along with Steve Budin. Again, you can watch this show, any portion of it or its entirety, over at picknation.com. Good luck, everybody, today. Catch you again next week.